As both a homeroom trainer or merely just a trainer at VFA Learning, you will have a number of responsibilities in relation to providing pastoral care to our students. Pastoral care can be defined as a commitment to an active demonstration of concern for the growth and well-being of students. It focuses on cultivating an environment and culture that supports the physical, social, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual development of students. Studying can be daunting for students for a number of reasons. Effective pastoral care can assist students by creating a feeling of being supported, provides them with confidence, makes their learning experience more enjoyable, helps keep students accountable, and lastly, provides ways to deal with challenges that are occurring both internally and externally to the learning environment. For these reasons and more, outstanding pastoral care can lead to a very positive learning experience. Importantly for VFA, strong pastoral care will influence how successful our business is. Strong pastoral care will lead to improved student satisfaction ratings, leads to increased retention, and VFA Learning will be seen as a study destination of the highest order. On VFA's website, we promote our pastoral care program as SWAP. Now, SWAP stands for Student Wellbeing Assistance Program. And as it says on the website, the program is designed to assist you through your qualification by supporting good study habits and attendance at class. It also goes through what SWAP incorporates, being assigning a dedicated homeroom teacher to your class, monitoring your student progress through the learning management system, coordinating your student practical placement, which often doesn't get done at some placement providers, regular contact with students and employers during placement, and providing students with access to professional counselling via our partnership with Headspace. The student's journey with VFA Learning begins with the career consultation. So this is a process where the potential student sits down with one of our career consultants, and the career consultant tries to find out a bit more about the potential student and what their goals are in relation to completing the course. Now, the career consultation includes some really important components where we learn a bit more about the student and as to whether the course is appropriate for them. So in the pre-training review, the career consultant will sit down and talk to the potential student about the course and just make sure that the course is appropriate for them and they understand all the various aspects of the course and the commitments. The students will complete a language literacy and numeracy test. So this is a test just for VFA to make sure that students are going to have that language literacy and numeracy skills to allow them to successfully complete the course. So if we find that for a diploma course someone hasn't got those required skills, then it's inappropriate that we enrol them. We either need to suggest that they need to do a lower level course or another course that might be more suitable, or find a way or put some strategy in place for them to lift their language literacy and numeracy so that they can later enrol in the program. And also during the consultation, through discussions and conversations and filling in forms, the career consultant will collect information from the student about things such as career goals, any special needs, challenges they might have. By the difference between special needs might be conditions, learning difficulties. By challenges, I more mean they might have difficulties in getting to the course by 9 o'clock because they're a single mum and they've got to get 3 kids off to school. So just those sort of things, and worries that they may have about study. So this may be worries based on bad experiences previously, or the fact that they haven't studied for a long time, and so they're feeling a bit intimidated by the whole process. Before classes start for your homeroom, the career consultant will sit down with you as a homeroom teacher and do something called a career consultant to homeroom teacher handover. Now, I've got a sheet on the screen here where we look at some of the things that are going to occur in that meeting. But basically, that's an opportunity for the career consultant to go through with you for each member of your class and discuss what they've learned about that student as part of their career consultation. As you can see on the screen, you'll discuss L, and N issues identified, health or fitness concerns. This might become more relevant in one of the more practical courses like fitness. Any other factors that may affect the classroom are also discussed. So in the next part of the form, you'll write down some information on the issues that are identified by discussing it with the career consultant. And then you'll provide a summary of the actions or adjustments that you think need to be put in place as a homeroom trainer to assist this student. So you'd expect one of these forms to be filled in particular for the students where concerns have come up. or it's been established by the career consultant that there may be potential challenges during the career consultation. This form again needs to be signed by you as a homeroom teacher and the career consultant. After the handover process, the information covered during that meeting will also be put into a consolidated form, as you can see on the screen. Now, this form will include their name and a summary of the handover notes for each student, so you've got easy, quick access. The last two columns in this more relate to the fitness course. So we've got PARQ notes and a training history and goal. So for other courses like a childcare course, for example, you wouldn't expect to see these columns because again, that relates to the sport and fitness courses. In certain circumstances where it's established that individuals have special needs in regards to their learning requirements, an individualised learning plan may be put in place. We're not going to discuss this as part of this video, but you need to be aware of that. So as you can see, it's expected that you're going to know a fair bit about your group and the individuals within that group before the first class. The first class provides you with the opportunity as a homeroom teacher to make a great first impression, but it also gives you a chance to make the students feel really comfortable. Remember, often they're feeling really intimidated and worried, especially for their first class. They're not knowing what to expect. So your role as a homeroom trainer in relation to pastoral care starts straight away. So for your first class, you can expect to have PowerPoints that discuss lots of their housekeeping and trying to make them feel comfortable. So in this PowerPoint presentation, you would expect to see things like housekeeping, as I mentioned, when class starts, where they can park, what gear to wear, a bit about being late, sick or absent, what they need to do, etiquette. So it's just about trying to create that good environment where everyone's working together and they know what's expected up front. But one of the most important things you really need to speak about during this initial presentation is the role of the homeroom teacher. So here's where you're going to get an opportunity to talk to them about your role and what you're there for. And it's not just for teaching them for the 2 or 3 days a week. It's that you're there for them for other times when they need to try and catch up, or if they've got concerns. They need to understand that we're here for them to try and make their learning journey as enjoyable and as positive as possible. So as you can see, your homeroom teacher will make sure you get the most out of your course, follow you up on outstanding work. That's a really important one. In a lot of cases, we have to make our students accountable. So they need to piggyback along, especially when they start falling behind. We know that once students start falling behind, that's when they start to get very overwhelmed. So we need to help them through that process, but also prevent them from falling too far behind. Ensure that the work is being done to a satisfactory standard and help out with any issues that relate to the course. For the first class, either you or your academic coordinator are required to coordinate Headspace to come and speak to the students. VFA Learning has a partnership with Headspace, which involves Headspace speaking to every class for the first class, but then also providing support to students where required throughout the course. So if you feel a student has a problem, you have that ability to refer them on to Headspace. So this is a really important partnership for VFA Learning and just helps with our pastoral care, our care for the students, but to provide you with support when you're not sure what to do with a student. To get a better understanding of Headspace and what they do, jump onto their website, www.headspace.org.au, and you can familiarise yourself with their operation and the services they provide. The first class also gives you an opportunity to develop a clear and user-friendly communication channel with the students. So this is a way of communicating with the students on those days when they haven't got class. The recommended platform to communicate with students is the news feed, which is found on the learning management system. So the student or the trainer just needs to click on this tab on the side of the page, and this allows the students to communicate with each other through the news feed, but also trainers to send information out to students and also attach required information, as you can see up the top of the page here. Some homeroom trainers prefer to use a social media platform like Facebook to communicate with students in those days outside of class, as opposed to using the news feed. At the time of filming this video, VFA Learning as an organisation is comfortable with this. As long as the platform you use is accessible for all students and doesn't disadvantage any students, and is a platform that is likely to be used, because this communication is really important. Students will complete feedback a number of times during the course. This will occur at weeks 1, 8 and the end of the course via an online survey. Students will also be interviewed at various times by management. The survey will ask students a number of questions about VFA's performance, but also you as a trainer and homeroom leader. This gives VFA a line of sight to ensure that you are performing your role to the standard we expect. Assisting students to manage their workload is one of the most important parts of your job. Assessments are released progressively throughout the program. When students fall behind, they become overwhelmed and more likely to drop out of the course. VFA Learning has a number of checks in place to ensure we know when students are falling behind, but also to make you accountable as a homeroom trainer for your group. A number of reports and tracking methods can be used to monitor student progress. Your academic coordinator can help you access these reports. I want to reinforce the importance of monitoring student progress and assisting students who are struggling. If a student is falling behind on assessment tasks or struggling to understand concepts, you are required to make contact with them and book in a catch-up session. The catch-up session may involve assessment catch-ups, teaching content they are struggling with, or assisting them with general issues. It's very important that VFA tracks and records the extra support provided to students. This creates a history for the student record. This also gets a lot of attention at audit time when Esquire investigates how we support our students. So when you provide extra support to a student or resolve an issue, it's important that file notes are kept. So to do this, we need you to go into Circulate, and we need you to go to the class. So we're going to click on this particular class. And when you get a list of the students, you need to go across and add a note. This will give you an opportunity to say what type of contact it is. So in this case, it's a trainer portal, or in most cases, it might be email or in person or by phone. So you have to write that in there, the date of the contact, and then a note. So you might there say, we caught up in person for 30 minutes to discuss fitness testing and go over the fitness testing assessment, which the student was having challenges with. So it's really important we keep these file notes, and then at the end you need to save it. This then keeps a record of contact between you as a homeroom teacher and that particular student. This then also has the ability to feed through to VetTrack, which is one of our other programs, so we get a total record of the contact between VFA and our students to show that we're providing that extra support for our students. So this is a really important step, so make sure you speak to your academic coordinator and are clear on what's required here. In a lot of cases, they'll also require you to get an attendance sheet signed, especially when you're catching up in person and you're going over some significant content. All businesses face issues with grievances and complaints. VFA has been lucky throughout its history to not have had too many issues in regards to complaints. However, situations do arise where students will wish to lodge a complaint. In both the student handbook and the Policies and Procedures Manual, you'll see our procedures for complaint management. It's really important that you're familiar with this. We're not going to go into it in depth in this video, but what I do want to discuss in this video is the fact that most things will not escalate into a complaint if dealt with properly. What we tend to find is when students have issues, whether it be with their trainer, resources, VFA, or other class members, where they get frustrated is when they feel that they bring the issue up and it doesn't get attended to. So our major focus for you as a homeroom teacher is to make sure that you deal with issues when they come up. You might think it's minor, but it might be minor for that student. So you need to try and attend to that student's needs and communicate clearly with that student as well. Whilst VFA management understands that people can be difficult, it becomes frustrating for management where students complain and it's clear that they have approached their homeroom teacher a number of times and nothing's been done about it. Again, this doesn't happen very often at VFA Learning because of our strong pastoral care and homeroom trainer system. However, just be mindful that complaints can get out of control fairly quickly, especially when you're dealing with difficult people. So just be mindful of the fact that you need to get back to these students as soon as possible and try and act as reasonably as possible, no matter how frustrating it may become. Complaint does get escalated to management. A full history of your correspondence and dealings with that student will be reviewed. It's really important you stay highly organised and keep good notes in relation to your correspondence. As a homeroom trainer, you will attend weekly homeroom trainer meetings. In these meetings, falling stars will be focused on. Falling stars is a VFA phrase used to describe students at risk of falling behind and dropping out of the course. In the meetings, management will ask you to report on falling stars and provide information on both their attendance, assessment work, and attitude. Management will ask what actions have been put in place in relation to this student. So it's important that you come to these meetings organised. These meetings provide you with an opportunity to share concerns, but also get advice from management and other trainers on how to deal with students and situations. As mentioned, students can be challenging. If you feel you require more support or training as a homeroom trainer, speak to management. Professional development ranging from mental health first aid to classroom management can benefit your skills as a trainer. If you're having troubles with an individual or a classroom group, please speak to management or your academic coordinator. The worst thing you can do is keep it to yourself when you're struggling to deal with situations. This is when problems can tend to escalate. There's a lot of support in place at VFA Learning, so make sure you use it. VFA Learning places a great deal of emphasis on pastoral care. For you, working in the vet sector, there is an opportunity to inspire and change lives. Often our students are not independent learners and need some piggybacking along. Hopefully this presentation has given you some insights into this very important part of your role.